You are watching GKTV.
Honorable Kanoti, what are your plans regarding education in Khwisero constituency?
On matters education, I must say that it's a serious concern for all the residents of Khwisero. That is where everyone is focusing. That's where everyone is suffering. You've heard of the issue of bursaries. Everyone is running to the aspirants and looking for money to pay school fees. And you are on your own. In Khwisero, it's not a plan as of now. There's nobody the member of parliament has not planned anything on education. And I don't want to blame him because he does not understand. Because the matters education must be well addressed. It is not a favor we do to our children to go to school. It's not a favor we do to the parents who have got children who want their kids to be in school. Because it is, first of all, a prerogative and a constitutional right of the government to make sure that all our children go to school. Even in the human rights, education is not something we beg for. The least we know is that during the independence of this country, there are three things that our forefathers promised, or the guys who were there in the beginning, the President Kenyatta and his government. They said, we are fighting disease, we are fighting illiteracy, and we are fighting poverty. So, and for all those years, we have not addressed these matters. So, in my plan, Khwisero must count on my plan that we are going to change everything. All our children will qualify for bursary. All our children will qualify for scholarship or financial aid. And it's not about just paying something in school for them to stay in school, but I'm talking about full bursary payment, full scholarship. If it's a day school, which goes for 7,500, we must pay. If you are going to go to school in high school and you have been admitted in a school outside Khwisero, we will pay. We are saying if you are called to go to a school like St. Mary's Mumias, we will pay. If you are admitted in Mukumu Girls, we will pay. If you are going to Kisumu Boys, we will pay. You don't need to be in Khwisero for us to pay. Anywhere where you are supposed to go, you will go. And so I want us to have that hope and have that confidence that all the students will get fair deal in my office. They go to school. And those who have been getting scholarship or who have been getting bursary support, I want to assure them that it's not Kanoti's money. It's not Honorable Seka's money. It is their money. And so we are not going to change anything because I've become a member of parliament. If you are being paid for, I will continue to pay. But I want to actually broaden the spectrum. Make sure that the number of the students who are being helped increases. And we also make sure that the money does not go to the rich, does not go into the pockets of those who have got jobs, who have ability to pay for their children. I want us to focus on the poor people that have no ability, people with no capacity to educate. We must help them. And also, I don't want to have any child remaining home or staying home because of school fees. I want us to have a community concern, conditional, that none of us is left out. No child is left out. No child remains home. No student stays home because of school fees. You could be there because of hunger, but school fees cannot be a reason why you are home. And we must strive to educate all. On matters of education, my sisters, you ask, I want also to focus on building modern classes that have got provision for stores or storage. I have got provision for ceiling. During rains, you can't even concentrate. Make sure that all the classes are provided with electricity and water, because sanitation is key in those schools. So we must make sure that we modernize our infrastructure. The school infrastructure must be modernized. Make sure that we have the right classrooms, and the right provisions. And also on matters of education, I want to call a stakeholders meeting in my first 100 days. I'm talking about parents, I'm talking about investors, I'm talking about teachers, the directors of education, the professionals who come from khwisero, those who have gone ahead, who have succeeded in education, those who are professors and lecturers, and people who've worked in government offices, to come together and ask ourselves, why do we not post the best results in the country? Because we could have good classes or good infrastructure, but do we really have the right teachers? Do we have enough teachers? Do we have the right brains? Do we have libraries in our communities or even in the schools? We may be pushing our children too far to perform out of our expectation, but do we provide? So make sure we have libraries, not just in schools, but I also want to start looking for community libraries. That for the 20 sub-locations, is it possible to have library in every sub-location? Yes. It's on my plan to have those social halls and to make sure that our children can gather and just learn from each other. Those who come from different schools, when they meet during the vacation, we want them to come and learn from each other. I want to go further and say we will want to have role models coming to speak to our children. Those who have succeeded in education can come back and give hope to these students. Go to the lecture halls and talk to them. Encourage them on issues of education. Tell them that they can go far, that they don't need to look around and say because their fathers didn't go to school, they think that they are the best because they have finished class 8, or maybe they have gone to Form 4. And also just to make sure that the system, CBC, the education system that we have is well entrenched, well implemented, and well executed. Remember, 2023 will need a very serious member of parliament. We're going to have a double intake in Form 1, those who are proceeding from the class 8 and those who are coming in as the lower high school. How do we make sure that there is synergy? Movement must be of essence. We must make sure that we have a clear path on matters education. I think that's all I have. And if there will be any other question, I'll address it also.
Mheshimiwa, what are your plans for those people who got below 250 marks, and also your plans for post-tertiary education?
Really, what is education? Education is the opening of an empty mind. I believe that a child who scores 250 and below marks, as you've seen the evidence this year, a child who had 177 marks comes top, becomes number 1. That tells you the environment. If you change the environment of a child, it will have a lot of impact on that child. And once you go to a school where there's a provision for library and good teachers, you can become anything you want in life. We don't want to base our judgment on a one-day affair, that people judged you on one day for what you did for 8 years. You are judged on one paper. You are judged on 1 hour. So when you score low, your fate is sealed. I want to open that space as a member of parliament, that if you have below 250 marks, you qualify as one who has got 400, you qualify as one who has 300, you'll get your bursary, you'll get your scholarship, you'll get your support. We must make sure that you move to the next class. Remember, government has said it's 100% transition. Move to the next class. The CBC is now training us that people are gauged on assessment tests that are ongoing. Every year, every cut counts. Every exam you do counts. Every assessment counts. And so that means that over the 8 years or over the time you've been in school, they are actually working on aggregate of your grades. Now that is something. So I want to give hope to all those children, all the pupils in the primary school who are saying that their fate is sealed. No, your fate is not sealed. Your fate is in the right hands of the next member of parliament. I will open that space. You can trust me, you'll go to school, and I can put my confidence in you that you will be a greater person in the future. So I have a plan for those who are getting below 250, and I also believe in conditional movement from primary to secondary school. That transition is key for me. And I also want to say, those who want to go to tertiary institutions, whether you're going to a polytechnic or you're going to a TVET, it doesn't matter. If you choose to go there because of your skills, we will allow you to go there. We will train you in that space. And we make sure that you become who you want to become. Those who go to university, we are saying support for children does not stop at the secondary level. And I'm glad that the Kenya Kwanza government is pledging to do what we call free secondary education, and also they are pledging to help to encompass more, broaden the spectrum of admission and make sure that most of these students who go to university get university financial aid. I want to say that we will encourage, even in our level as members of parliament, those who do not get money from the help, we will help them. We'll make sure that they stay in school and graduate. Because I'm a believer, education is a resource. And I believe that if you don't train your people, you have no reason to look for personnel to work. Even as a government, you want engineers, train them. You want doctors, train them. You want to have lawyers, invest in that. You want to have researchers in matters of education, you must invest in them. So wholesomely, I want to tell my people that education is a key pillar, is a key component, is a key thing for me. We must make sure education functions in khwisero. Thank you.